What's poppin', my Freeform Renegades? You are tuned into the Freeform Network. Thanks for joining us for another fun episode of Freeform Radio. I'm your host, Noel, with my co-host, Daniel.
Heck yeah, man. At the time of this recording, Christmas is not here. By the time you guys hear it, Christmas has passed. So hopefully you guys had some good time with your family. Ready to get this podcast going.
For sure. And we got Andy here, too.
It's all good, Andy. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas. And hope everybody has fun with their family because not everybody gets, some lucky ones don't get to have to spend time with their family. So, Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah, definitely relate to that sometimes. But yeah, if you're chilling with your family, God bless. And, hopefully everybody's good. Wherever your listeners are, we hope you're relaxed and feeling all right. And we're going to just jump right into this. And, all right, let's start it off with Daniel here. So it looks like you've been playing, was this Tyson boxing?
No, actually, I should have wrote more about it, but I just want to talk about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, because I looked back at my notes and we never talked about it unless I wasn't on that pod because I know I missed one. But yeah, the boxing match from November 15th, it's probably old news by now because especially by the time this drops, it's going to be late December or early January. But yeah, the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, I watched it. Did you watch this, Andy?
Yeah, I watched it on one of the streams, but I know there was a lot of technical difficulties. And then to top it off, people were about the main event, Tyson, Paul, and Logan or whatever. And there's a lot of questions about that too.
Right. Did you watch this, Noel?
So I saw parts of it, and then I kind of figured out what was going to happen, and I was like, all right, I just tuned out.
Okay. Yeah. Like Andy said, it was having some difficulty. It was one of Netflix's first big streaming sports live. They've done live streaming, but mostly for comedy shows, stand up and stuff like that. And this is one of their first live. And what's kind of scary is they're supposed to be playing, I mean, now it's past tense, the Christmas NFL game live on Netflix as well. So not sure how it's going to work out. This first showing for sure did have technical difficulties. I watched it from the start just because Junior was really excited about it. And I was going to tune into it and just kind of poke my head in and out. But since Junior seemed really engaged, I was just like, let's go. Let's do this thing. Let's watch it. And to be honest, it had, I think, 4 matches. Yes, 4 matches. The first one, it was these YouTubers. It was okay. It was kind of more just showboating and clowning around. But the second and third fight, the middle two, man, those were pretty good, man. The 2 Latino Mexicans, that one was probably the showstopper. I think that's was one of the best matches that the night had. And then even the 2 women boxing, that one was a good fight as well. And then to round it off, the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, it was a good spectacle. But yeah, I think the match didn't kind of hold up. I know Andy kind of alluded to, there's kind of some controversy as to whether Mike Tyson gave his all, because that first round, when he started off hot, I'm like, this is going to be good. And then it almost seems like Jake Paul hugged him and grabbed him and told him hey bro, this is just an exhibition. We're not supposed to swing full force here. And after that, Mike Tyson just shut it off, to me, or at least that's the way it seemed. But the little parts that you watched, Andy, what did you think about the Mike Tyson?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that he's older. He got a big payday, so. And then after that first round, you could kind of see oh man, he slowed down. And then they kind of talking about how he was injured or something from the training. But then yeah, I mean, it just kind of went. Exhibition is a good word for it. If that, it was more sparring, but what I saw was Tyson. I don't want to say he wasn't giving his 100%, but he signed the deal and he's like, I'm gonna honor the deal. That's how I'm gonna word it, allegedly, because it did not look like a full out boxing. Come on, you're talking about Tyson here and the kid who he's fought a bunch of bums, I guess. I mean, he had a couple of real challenges from former UFC fighters that came to box, and I don't know. I mean, the kid, I'll give you this. He's a genius. He's making money. But yeah, it was not. It was kind of sad at the end there. But yeah.
Yeah, and you know all the little bit that you watched, what did you think about the performance?
I agree with your stance on it. I think there was a good start, and then at a certain point, uh, I don't remember if it was the first round or second round, but at a certain point, I got that same feeling you got, where I'm like, I think he just turned it off. Like he realized, okay, I can't actually knock this guy out, otherwise, X amount of dollars is out of his paycheck. So I'm just like, man, I think he got bought, man, and I'm like, I don't blame him, but just sucks.
Yeah. I think overall, I think it was a good showing. It really brought people out. Netflix made a ton of money. They had one of their biggest spikes in viewerships. So, other than the Netflix and the actual bout, I think it was a pretty good turnout. The other two undercards, I think, was the highlight, and I think it was worth the watch. But yeah, the Tyson match was
Do you
okay.
think, Dan, the reason it was so hyped up was because it was on Netflix, and Netflix being the leading streamer in the world had so many subscribers? If you would have put this on pay-per-view, you think it would have been as successful or would have been less?
I don't think it would have been as successful on pay-per-view. I think a lot of people tune in for the curiosity of the first
Yes.
time. I was just watching on Netflix actually, the XFL little thing, the 30 and 30 they have on there, and they talked about how the first game had like this huge, I think it scored like a 10. I don't know what it's out of
Yeah.
for the Nelson, whatever. And so it was like a huge number, and then it just dropped off after that. And I think this was kind of similar. It's Netflix's first big sports event, or at least live event, and it churned out the people. I think if this was like the fifth one that Netflix had done, I think you would have seen more of an accurate showing for if people were excited to see the box or not. But I thought it was good. Hopefully Netflix works out the kinks because Christmas is coming up and I like to watch my NFL. So hopefully it's working well, but we'll have to see and report back on that one. But yeah, jumping onto something else I've been doing. I did play some games, Noel, and I played the Resident Evil 4. I think you said you played this one already. This is the remake. Finally got around to playing it. And man, this one was a good one, man. The remake, they changed it up, they modernized it. Which Resident Evil 4, to be honest, of up to the first three, totally revolutionized the way the Resident Evil games are. After this, all of them basically became over-the-shoulder kind of shooters, action games, and where 5 kind of took it to the next step with the co-op, and then 6 like really went overboard with the action. But 4 does, I think, like a good balance where it still keeps the horror, the scariness, the frights in there over the shoulder, and the remake just does it in spades. I think it was one of the better remakes, right up there with Resident Evil 2 remake, because that one was a good one as well. But yeah, Resident Evil 4, man, I really dug it. It took me a while to beat it, just because I didn't really have a lot of gaming time, so I just took it piece by piece. But really enjoyed my playthrough. Do you remember this one, Noel? Do I remember right? You played this one?
So way back, yeah, when it first came out, I remember playing it, and then I finally beat it when I on PC, because I wanted to play in 4K, and the upscale on 4K was freaking great. Now I'm talking about the old one, not the remastered. So I
Okay.
still have yet to play the remaster, but I've heard great things, and you saying what you just said, I'm like, okay, for sure, I got to get this.
Yeah, it was really good. It's one of Capcom's better remakes, up there with 2, because they remade part 3 and not a lot of people were really digging that. So after 4, I'm not really sure where they go. They got I forget what it's called, Code Veronica. I kind of like that, but I think that is super dated. I think you would have to start all over, kind of do a ground up, kind of like Resident Evil 4 remake. But that one might be interesting. If not, do they go to Resident Evil 5? They were kind of expecting it to be at the Video Game Awards, which was a couple days ago. but there was no showing of Resident Evil. So kind of wait to see what they're going to do next for the Resident Evil franchise. But yeah, really enjoyed it. On to the next game that I'm playing. But the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about was I finished watching 1883. Now I know Yellowstone, the main series, just started up again because it was on hiatus for a while with all the Kevin Costner fiasco that's been going on in the background. But yeah, finally got around to watching 1883. Now this is the one with it's got a couple like big name actors, or maybe not actors, but artists like Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. They're more musicians more than actors, but yeah, they put on a good performance. Sam Elliott's on the show. He's a really famous country cowboy actor, so he's on there. But yeah, this is kind of a prequel to the Yellowstone. Not sure if you guys heard about it, but it's on Paramount. And yeah, it's a prequel to the Yellowstone TV show, and kind of shows how the family dynamic has started and how it's developed. It's them traveling because the family originated in Tennessee, and it's them traveling on West Northern to get to Oregon, to get to because that was their ultimate goal, is to get to Oregon, and them traveling over there. And then due to the things that go on, they end up landing on Yellowstone and make it their home. But yeah, man, it was a really good series. Showed a lot of the dynamic with other people going through the Oregon Trail, which is funny because that's a video game that I played when I was really young, and they keep remaking that one too, which is really interesting. But yeah, this TV show kind of goes into a lot of those details. And goes just through the whole process that you have to go out there dealing with bandits, dealing with Indians, dealing with just, other people's dynamic in your travels as you're going in a group, because with numbers, you got more strength. So it was a really interesting TV show, especially because I'm a Yellowstone fan. So I really dug the Dalton family and how they started off. Have you seen any of the Yellowstone, Noel, or even were interested in this TV show at all?
It did catch my attention, but there's so much on my backlog, dude. Like, I don't know when I'll get to watch it. I do have plans to watch it, but I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon. I got so much to catch up on.
All right, so yeah, it doesn't look like Noel has time in his busy backlog, which everybody could understand that. But Andy, did you watch Yellowstone, or are you even interested in this 1883 show?
Yeah, I know of it. I know my wife watched it. She loves the Yellowstone universe. I think, is that the one with Harrison Ford and the lady, or is that a different one?
That's the next one, because they got
Yeah.
two or three spin-offs. This one is the origin of them setting up their foundation in Yellowstone, and the next one, the Harrison Ford, is like 1923 or something.
Yeah,
I forget what year
she
it is.
watched them. I haven't watched them. She's like, we should watch them, and I'm just like, like I'm kind of like Noel. I'm like, I'd rather watch all this other shit because just busy, I guess. I don't know. I like Yellowstone. I'm not ready to delve into that universe because a lot of the time when they do all the spin-offs and all that, 9 out of 10 times it's a disappointment. So I'm like, I'll watch it when I can, so I could be pissed off watching and say this sucks.
Yeah, this one was good. I thought the show was good. The ending, it did feel like it needed one more episode, maybe. It kind of felt like rushing on to kind of tie up all the little strings that it had at the end. But I thought it did pretty good. So yeah, next is same like Noel. I got so much stuff in my backlog. I got actually a good one that I've been waiting for, Mad Men. They had a Black Friday special for like $10. You get all the seasons of Mad Men. So I picked that up digitally, and I'm thinking that's going to be the next one that I start watching. But yeah, we'll have to see how it all pans out and what time is allowed. But Andy, that's my time's up. Let's go over to you, man. UAPs, or as people used to like to call them, UFOs, going on in the East Coast. What was this about? I kind of heard a little bit about it, but don't know much about it.
So I don't know how much you guys know about it. It's been on the excuse me, like the news this whole week, and like finally, like the government or the federal government had to address it. I mean, people have been recording some. They kept saying the thing is funny. They keep saying drones, right? Drones, drones, drones. People have been recording drones or what they think is drones all up and down the East Coast. Right now, a big chunk of it's in New Jersey. That's where all the news is talking about. Like on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the local governments have started complaining that no one's telling us what this is. The army bases or the local, they're like, we don't know what it is. And finally, Mayorkas, I think he's the Homeland Security guy, and the National Security Kirby made comments saying like, there's no concern from us. We think they're just drones that you could buy anywhere. Because there's no need for concern from our end. And on top of it, Mayorkas said we don't have the authority to shoot these things down, which I found kind of interesting, that comment. But people keep reporting them. Today, as of this recording, there has been reports from other countries. Today, Argentina had some footage come out. People in Phoenix, now people are seeing them in the West Coast. I know London and I'm not London. England had some last week, the week before, like some spears. So now it's becoming, what is this? And now everybody's coming out the woodwork like with their wild theories. So you could hear like the drone noise, like that whizzing sound, and a lot of the videos. So they're saying the United States ones, they believe it's a special drone that's part of this like government agency, an alphabet agency. I've heard some different ones that they're searching for stuff, but they're not telling you what it is. But then reports came out that they're coming out of the water. So there's a lot of stuff going around in X and all the social media sites, but to clarify, a lot of the federal government has made comments on them. They admitted, they're like, we don't know what this is. That's what they're saying right now. Two, they're like, we can't legally just shoot them down, which was an interesting, that came from Mayorkas, and people are concerned. So I've seen videos of people go out there with their rifles and try to shoot it down. What these things are. So people are like aliens. They think it's from another government. People think it's like the Russians and all this other good. Today, this morning, I read that there's a pretty new theory going around that they're gonna announce some stuff this week, but they don't want to get people to get crazy. You remember the pandemic, how when there was the lockdowns or whatever, how people went crazy at the grocery store. But I don't know how much you guys looked into it. What do you know about it, or do you guys even care? Because I know a lot of the news media isn't really saying the national, but the local stuff is saying a lot about it. And there's a lot of tidbits and stuff coming out. And when the government speaks, I think the biggest one was Fox News. They had Kirby on there. She was challenging them. He basically said, we're not really too concerned about this.
Yeah, I did see news articles come up about it and videos on YouTube and all that, and even some YouTubers covering it. But I didn't like delve deep into it yet. It's actually like relatively new. I saw it, I think it was 2 days ago, so on Friday. And yeah, I mean, it's suspicious, man. It's strange, and it's hard to really know what it is exactly. Like, is it another government? Which doesn't seem likely, unless our own government doesn't care about its security, and there's treasonous stuff going on that we don't know about. Which is like, it's just another level of conspiracy that it's just like, I don't know if I can just jump to that conclusion automatically. Because it literally could be just something innocent, maybe just somebody just flying drones and, maybe they saw the news like, oh damn, like hopefully I don't get in trouble. So
Just real quick, like I said, it's been going on all week. People have tried to fly other drones towards it to get better pictures. The lot of people, multiple people, even the drones that the like local sheriffs use, say once it gets kind of close to it, the battery just starts dying down. Within they're fully charged, they die within like 30 seconds or something like that. So it's not some they're not being things are not being allowed to get too close to it. And two, there people are trying to use like thermal imaging sensors and vision, and the things that they see are not emitting any type of heat or anything like that.
that's interesting. That's a
Multiple
new.
people have stated that, like local sheriffs and stuff like that, that they don't see any heat emission from that. So a lot of people think it's like some type of new technology that the government's using.
That would be
Interesting.
my guess, is that this is some new tech going on, maybe a new drone tech that the U.S. has made and they're testing. I just think it's kind of odd that if this was the case, that they'd be testing it on the East Coast. I would think you would test this over in Nevada or something where they have all their bases, they have it more isolated, where you're not going to get a bunch of people like claiming UAPs, UFOs, and whatnot. So yeah, I know that to me would seem like hopefully this is what it is, and it's not some kind of alien invasion or anything kind of weird like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is. Hopefully, it's nothing too urgent, or it's not foreign manipulation by some, kind of like
So
China or something coming over
yeah,
here.
so that's the reasonable thought, right? Like, so there's three things. It's a UFO. Two, it's our technology. Or three, it's foreign, like from another country. So right away, the UFO people came out. People were claiming like they could, like, you see multiple videos. Some you could kind of see like a drone, and some you don't. So there's this mixed thing, and people are saying they're using technology to cover it up, or what they're really doing. That type of thing, like Project Blue Beam. I don't know how much you guys know about that. Uh, Two, the other one, in the big in the internet, the that rabbit hole. They're saying it's ours, hence why they haven't shot it down, because they know what they're doing, and you just don't want to tell people what they're doing. And I did hear, I'll talk about this in a little bit. So somebody I work with his crazy conspiracy, when he first said what he said, I was like, this guy's crazy. This doesn't make any sense to me. It was pretty wild theory. And so now I'm just like, I don't know. And then the third one, it's foreign, like Russia is the big one. I think somebody from the local, like a state senator, said it might be from Iran. But if that was the case, I think they would have shot it down, because they wouldn't allow that to happen. But again, going off of Biden's last thing, when something was flying across the U.S. and they knew it was foreign made, was that Chinese balloons that were measuring the bases. They shot it down over the ocean. So I don't know. So those are the big three conspiracies. When I first saw it and I saw the videos, I'm like, the U.S. is dick waving to like Russia or something to show like, we got this shit. Look at it. We send your nukes. We could stop them. That was like the prevailing thing. Well, last night, the thing is, they started coming out on like Twitterverse and other people saying that, and this is the conspiracy that I heard on Friday. These drones are detectors that they're looking, allegedly, right? This is all on social media. I mean, believe what you believe, but it does make sense to me. That they're flying these drones all along the East Coast and the West Coast too now, and particularly the ones in New Jersey, is because there's ports there, and they're scanning the whole areas, blocks and blocks of land, because the drones can detect. You can pull information. These drones can pull information off of people's phones, and then they could do like what your Wi-Fi. They could do some bullshit, detect like messaging and stuff that you're doing, and they can detect. They have specialized sensors that are looking for. Again, allegedly, this is on an X and YouTube, looking for like nuclear like signals, because when you have nukes, it emits like this. It does something in the atmosphere, and they have these sensors that can. These drones are designed to pick up that stuff from the atmosphere, and that they're looking for this dirty nuke, end quote. And they're afraid that they don't want to say, the government doesn't want to say what they're doing because they don't want mass panic. But that's like the new thing. And before I jumped on, there was even rumors now that Biden's gonna come on today or tomorrow and announce like what they're doing or some shit like that, or they got something, like they found a weapon of mass destruction or something like that. That's like the new thing. But again, I read shit like this before, but it makes sense to me that I think they are looking for something.
Man, that's pretty scary. That's
Yeah.
pretty scary if that's the truth, because it's like, all right, so that would lead to the possibility that there is a nuke in the East Coast, like New Jersey
Yeah, because
area.
they're ports. Yeah, you know how the ports,
Right.
and they're thinking they got it out, and they're trying to search all these homes. They're like in Red Bank. They're like in the suburbs and big cities of New Jersey. And I think there's parts of New York too that they searched. But somehow I think they got something where that's why they're really focusing on that area. I mean, that's the thing that I saw and read this morning. Again, allegedly, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of scary. But who knows? Like, I read a bunch of stuff in the past that didn't come to fruition. But this, you see all this. That's why they're like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because they don't want people trying to, like, which they're already doing, shooting weapons and shit and with guns to bring this thing down. And then we got a new president coming in what, like 4.5 weeks, a month from now. So read what you will into that, and possibly national emergency type of shit. So who knows what's going to happen. But that's what I was reading this morning. I was just like, man, I hope it's just aliens and they fucking land and say, we're here, what's up, let's party. But it sounds like that's not the case.
Man.
Yeah, it'd be scary. Either way, I mean, if it's a foreign thing, that's kind of scary. If it's the U.S. government because they're searching for something, that's kind of freaky. And then, yeah, if it's aliens, hopefully.
The aliens don't scare you then, or they do?
I mean, not as much because I don't know. Either way, it's still kind of freaky, even if it is an alien. So hopefully, they're down with JC and everything will be cool.
Well, you guys know about that. Before we switch it up here, the December 3rd that aliens or UFOs were gonna appear. You know about that? Some robot predicted that a couple years back. They predicted Trump was going to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, and a couple weeks after that, these aliens are going to appear. You know about that, right? I don't think Danny, maybe Noel does.
No, I'm too busy watching 1883, man. I don't have time for all that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I there's a lot of stuff surrounding all that, man. Joe Rogan's podcast, and even he was commenting about the drones and stuff. I have to actually read up on that and what he said, because he did make comments about it too. So I'm curious, man. It's just so much going on right now. It's hard to keep track of everything.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the one bringing it up is they had a date and nothing really happened. But before that, in Europe, there was already like all these drones popping up. I think one of them landed in like England somewhere. There's like pictures, just like a round sphere, just hovering right above the ground. But again, nothing really much happened, and like it is. It's like, to me, like the UFO stuff's always been fascinating. So I really keep an eye on this stuff because I talk to other people. There's a guy I know. He's really big into. He's an end times type of guy, like Revelation. So he thinks this is the beginning of the end, or we're in the tribulation, and he thinks that the aliens and all that stuff is demons. That's like his big thing. And he's like, he's like, why haven't I'm ready to be raptured into heaven? And I always tell him like, well, dude, you be sinning like every other day, you partying and take drugs. But anyways, he talks about that, and then he was sending me videos about people having dreams that they're vivid and the revelations and stuff. But again, to each his own. And to me, I'm old school. I'm old from 80s and 90s. I just want it to be aliens. I've been waiting for this like 40 plus years now, and I wanted to be aliens. But more and more, the older I get, the more and more it looks like it's ever going to be aliens. Now it's the big thing is interdimensional beings, or they're from the future, these grays, and they're really us. So, but let us know what you think at ffnquestions@gmail.com. Let's lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to go to Noel. I don't know how much lightning Last of Us, if I remember one. That's a pretty end times type of game too. So what's going on that? Maybe if you beat the game, it had a better happy ending than possibly Nuke Annihilation that we might be facing this week.
No, it's definitely it's not quite nuke related, but it is pretty dystopian. It's pretty good, man. Like this remastered version on PS5 is definitely the way to go. I had this way back on the PS4, and there was a remastered version then as well. But now I guess this is remastered. Uh, it's been around for a minute for sure, but
was it a PS3 game or not? I thought it was always like a PS4 game.
It started off as a PlayStation 3 game, but it was so late in the series, like at the end of the life cycle of PlayStation 3, that, like Noel mentioned, they remastered it for PlayStation 4, basically up-res graphics, like 1080p with 60 frames kind of thing. But yeah, this is the remake of that game again, but with PlayStation 5 tech.
Right. And that's I assume the same story and all that. So I don't remember beating the original, the PS3 one, but this PS5 version, dude, it's awesome. It's a really good cinematic style game. And Naughty Dog is known for that style. They have the Uncharted series as well. And so, I already saw the show prior to playing this game. So my goal was also to like compare how the show was versus the game. And it was really cool actually because I liked the show a lot, and so I wanted to actually play the game, and it just immersed me even more because now I can play as the characters that I got to see through the show that I liked. So it was very cool game. Combat's pretty easy, and the mechanics are cool. I'm already kind of used to it, like the stealth mechanics and sneaking up on people. And I mean, I think way back in Manhunt on PS2, I was like doing stealth stuff. So it was pretty cool. It gave me that vibe too, because you've messed these people up, man. You shank them and all this stuff. It's pretty violent, but it's really fun. You know, I would say the story very similar to the TV show, which I was shocked. I'm like, man, like they didn't really deviate much, which is good. There were moments that were different, but it was just moments versus, the whole story itself just being, changed up. So definitely recommend it. If you like the show, you're gonna like the game. And if you like the game, you should watch the show. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, for sure, man. This is one that I picked up during Black Friday, the remake. I played it when it was on PlayStation 3. I beat it then. I beat it for the remaster on PlayStation 4. And yeah, when I saw this come out, it was a little pricey for when it first came out, but there was some good deals on Black Friday. Picked it up. I haven't played it yet, but definitely getting excited. I was kind of thinking wait until season 2 comes out on HBO and maybe play it right before then so I could lead me in. Because like you said, the storyline is really much beat for beat the game.
Right. Yeah, so it's definitely a good plan. Yeah. I'm actually going to play number 2, like maybe in the weeks following, leading up to the actual season 2. And then I'm going to compare and contrast the show, pretty much like how I compared and contrast the game this time around. So yeah, I'm gonna play number 2 before season 2, and then do it the other way, and we'll see how it all turns out. But I think you're gonna enjoy it, Daniel. So that's good you picked it up. Have you ever played Last of Us, Andy?
No, I know what Danny's told me. My only question to you guys, like, you guys are avid gamers. I'm more casual at best. I noticed Sony. I don't know if it's Sony, but I guess the publishers, they do a lot of remastering or HD or upscaling of games and get re-released. My question is, why doesn't Nintendo do that, like with their classics? Or am I missing, or is it like digital stuff on the Switch? Because every time I hear you guys like, oh, I remember this, and then like it's been remastered. And does Nintendo just not believe in that, or is it just they don't publicize it as much? Am I missing something?
Uh, I don't know as much about Nintendo as others. I know my cousin as well is like a Nintendo fan day one, so this guy would be able to go dive deep and tell you why. And I'm sure he's told me throughout his many rants about Nintendo because it's like a love-hate relationship. Nintendo is like one of the best companies that put video games on the map, but they are also one of those that are like stuck and stubborn, and they don't always really care exactly what the fans are asking for. They kind of just do their thing. So if the fans want something like a remastered game, they're like, all right, we'll do it when we want to do it, or we won't do it at all. And that's just the way it is. So I couldn't really give you all the details. Maybe Daniel, do you know?
Yeah, my guess it's budget related. The last game, if I had to take a guess, was maybe like 20,000 to make. The first Last of Us, if that, because it was for PlayStation 3, so probably not even that much. This one, if I had to take a guess, it's probably north of 100 million to make this game. So it's like when you're investing into games, 100 million. The Spider-Man 2 that just came out, I think I read somewhere that it was 180 million dollars to make that game. So if you're investing 180 million dollars on a new IP or something that's kind of not known, that's a big risk to take for you not to get your money back, for it to be a flop. So I think the remake is the safe way, but you do start kind of fatiguing your fan base if they don't really dig it, and they'll pass on it. Definitely, like the it was too pricey for me, so I passed on it. And I'm a Last of Us fan, but it was just too much. So yeah, I think it's the money that drives these
Yeah,
remakes.
like just with the GameCube, Super Nintendo, even the Nintendo or anything after that, like you don't hear anything like we're remaking or remastering. Maybe a Zelda here and there, but I mean I haven't heard anything. And like you guys always talk about, like think about the Last of Us PlayStation 3. Like I remember being on PlayStation 3. They're like, damn, they're already remastering that shit. Like the PlayStation 3 Play Blu-rays, that should have been in HD already. So I'm like, how much can they do to it?
Oh man, you'd be surprised. Some of these remasters are phenomenal. Um, and The Last of Us One, the PS5 version, I've seen the side by side comparisons. I'm like, man, it's a big leap from what it
Yeah.
was on
Oh, okay.
PS3.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean, I
yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, you guys would know. I mean, I don't know. I'm casual. Like how much? I'm thinking like, okay, like yeah, just how much can they do to it? Something that was made in HD and all this other shit. So
Yeah, because I think PS3 could do like 720p. I think I don't even think it was full 1080, and it was like the early HD. So maybe it was HD, but it wasn't necessarily like the best version of that. Whereas now it's like using, well, if you have the PS5 Pro, it uses the PSSR and it upscales and it, does all this crazy stuff now. So yeah, it's definitely leaps and bounds from what it was in PS3. But anyway,
okay.
man, I do recommend it for you too, Andy. Like if you've never played it, man, try it out. I think you really like it. It's a cool. I don't even know. Do you know at all about the Last of Us?
Yeah, but it's just like some end times they had like a disease or something, and people are just trying to get by, and they find like cannibalism people or some shit like that too or something. I mean, that's all I know of it.
So yeah, there's moments of that. People are starving, so they resort to like some crazy stuff. But essentially, it's like a fungus
Yeah.
virus that like
Hmm.
takes over, and then it has like a hive mind. So all these people that are affected, like not only do they go crazy like 28 days later, but they also are like essentially slaves or like drones for this bigger thing, which is like the fungus, right? But definitely cool, man. You should check it out. And moving on to another thing. Now, this one is a little more lighthearted. Here we go with Robocop. I started playing that on the PS5. Picked it up, I want to say like a month ago. And, I got a bunch of games recently that were on sale. And I was just like, all right, let me, start getting through some of these. And after Last of Us, I'm like, let me play Robocop, dude. It's been a minute since, I've seen the movies. And I actually picked up Robocop 2 on 4K recently as well. So I had like this itch to finally, play it. And it's a fun game, I'm not going to hype it up too much. Maybe about a third of the way through, I feel like, maybe almost halfway through. And definitely a fun game. The graphics are great. You really get immersed, and it looks very much like how the movies did. So the graphics are on point. The frame rate could do better, but I don't have a Pro, so I think in the future, if I get a Pro, the frame rate will match the quality mode based on how it is right now. I think it's 30, so it'll probably do quality with 60 in the Pro. So, which is actually something I'm hoping to get pretty soon. But in the meantime, I'm actually just getting through and just gonna play it through like this before I get the Pro. But have you seen RoboCop, Daniel?
Yeah, actually, this is another one that I picked up for Black Friday. It was a good deal, like you said. Haven't played it yet. Actually, I picked up a few Black Friday games, but I haven't played any of them. I'm playing right now GTA San Andreas, the remaster that came out a while ago, just because it just hit me. I'm like, man, some 90s hip hop. Let me listen to this. So I started playing that. But yeah, RoboCop
Nice.
is definitely on my to do because I was excited when it came out, and because of the good deal, I picked it up, and it does look really cool, and the reviews came out pretty good for it too. So I'm excited for it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're gonna like it. It's got some cool gameplay mechanics where it's almost like like a RPG. Like you can upgrade your weapon, you can upgrade your skills. It has certain things like that, so you get abilities and you get experience and you level up. But you also do missions with the town and you help people out and give people tickets. And obviously, you're gonna just destroy a lot of the corrupt evil in the neighborhood. So it's really fun, dude. I think you're gonna like it.
Can you shoot cigarettes off of people smoking? No, like in the movie.
I think you're gonna shoot a lot more than just a cigarette when you start.
Oh man, can you do crotch shots, man, like in the movie?
Dude, it's gory as hell, dude.
Yeah. Oh
You could
shit.
you destroy people. You send them flying with your massive like Magnum automatic gun and shit. Like it's, oh, dude, it's so
Well,
cool.
actually, RoboCop, the first movie was gory as heck. They had to trim it back because they were afraid they were gonna go like X-rated or what was the story, something like that, right?
Yeah, there's an original RoboCop, and they released a Criterion. It's like this art house, this director's cut, and it's like super like bloody and gory. It's like an extra like 5 to 10 minutes of more blood and shit getting blown up and body parts flying.
Yeah, like that execution scene where they
Hmm.
killed Alex Murphy. Like,
Hmm.
supposedly it goes on for like 3 minutes, where they just keep
Yeah,
shooting him. Yeah.
yeah. It's like I downloaded it in the torrent. When torrents was the shit, and it was pretty messed up. I mean, those extra 10 minutes it was like, damn.
Yeah, no, it's definitely gory, 100%. And what's cool too is it has a unique story. So it's imagine like RoboCop 4. You're like it's like a new movie, like a new story with the same characters and everything. It's building up. It's going off of like what was already built, but like it's unique story. So I think you're definitely gonna like it. You have a PS5, right, Andy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it, man. If you like the movies, I think you'll like this one. And it's one of those you could pick up, play whenever. The one con I do give it, there are a few nitpicky things. There's no manual save. So you're pretty much at the mercy of whenever they have a checkpoint. And if you didn't make the checkpoint and you got to cut it off, well, you're going to have to redo some of the stuff that you did earlier, the next time you play. So it's just one of those like quality of life things they could have done, but they didn't. It's kind of a bummer, but it's not a big deal. I'm working through it. Like I'm figuring out, all right, this is the point where I got a checkpoint. Now I can like log off if I want to. But there's not too many complaints other than that, like frame rate, and that quality of life thing. Other than that, I think it's like a really fun, solid game. I think it's about 15 to 20 hours, depending on your play style. Maybe a little extra if you try to get 100% it. Um, I've been trying to find like the hidden caches and stuff, like hidden in the city, guns and all that, and you find like incriminating documents and you collect stuff, right? So I'm still trying to get all that stuff, but I don't think I'll ever 100 this. And mainly I'm just playing it for the story, which, like I said, it's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I think that's it for the week right there. Let's just go ahead and jump into the article of the week. All right, so we got a video this time around instead of an article. Very interesting though, and it's a short one, 7-minute video. So we'll put the link up there. You guys could check it out. Um, I'm not going to play the video right now. I think it's better that we just kind of talk about the general topic and then let people, watch the video when they get a chance. So the title of the video says "Scary: How a Woman Discovered Deepfakes of Herself," and this is from NBC4 Washington. Came out just recently, a couple weeks back, late November. And so this woman, she found that she had somebody using her likeness, her face, and her voice and all that to make not only fake like accounts on social media, but also trying to catfish somebody to steal their money. And it was pretty convincing. They show the videos that were used, and they interview the guy that almost got catfished, and I could see why he almost got catfished. It's kind of like sad too, because it's like, man, like it's this guy's just an innocent guy and he almost got scammed right here by this new technology, this AI that's very new but very scary, man. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, man. When I saw the video, the fake one, I couldn't tell the difference. Now, at the end of the article video that we're gonna post up, they show another one that you could do kind of like as an amateur, and that one you could kind of tell because you could tell that the lip syncing was kind of off a little bit. But this one that this guy got catfished with, it looked real. And the other big thing about it is that this lady is like somewhat famous. So this guy thought, he's like, oh man, I got, Halle Berry talking to me and she wants to go out with me. So that maybe is a level of like, you got to kind of sense that it's not real, but hey, maybe this guy thought he was the shit and he's going to hook up with this famous chick.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. The deepfakes are getting better and better. I think we talked about this a couple of years ago, like right before the pandemic. There was one. Remember, like there was two of them. The celebrity ones. That was like a big one back in the day, and then like they created one with Nixon announcing that the one of the Apollo missions like exploded in space or something, and it looked like real. And then from there, it went into what we got now with the deep fakes. And I think when you just post anything on the internet, man, now it's just like it's open for people to just copy and do whatever. And when I post stuff on Twitter on behalf of the podcast or myself, I get inundated with like messages and like likes. I'm just like, I don't even. I'm pretty sure it's not the like people messaging me for like partnerships and all this. I'm always thinking like it's a fucking scam. People just trying to get money out of you. Like the other day, I posted something on Ryan Sandberg has cancer again, and I posted something like "Get better," and then supposedly it was liked by Ryan Sandberg himself. I just went to the profile page and it was just like, this is all bullshit. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a message from this guy soon saying like, "Hey man, I need money for the cancer treatment" or some shit like that. But you never know, you know. There's a lot of just fake stuff, and it's getting harder to harder. And I think it just tricks older people, you know. Like the guy in the news article he was an older gentleman, so you don't know now. You know, it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Noel, and even Apple's getting a little more into this because they just came out with their latest update, and they're starting to have AI integrated into all their apps, into the mail, into this like photo generator thing. Now, granted, it looks kind of cartoony, but yeah, man, AI is definitely expanding and going everywhere.
It's kind of worrying, man. It reminds me of Running Man, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was telling my coworkers recently, you know, when I saw this video article, I brought it up to them too, and that's what got me thinking like we should talk about this in the podcast because it's not like a far stretch that in the future we might start seeing things like Running Man, not necessarily in terms of the game show stuff and all the craziness, but in terms of the deep fakes that they used to incriminate him to begin with in the start of the movie.
Yeah, the shooting, right?
Yeah.
I remember now. Yeah, when he's in the helicopter. Yeah.
Yeah, and they made it seem like he killed everybody when he was trying to save them. So I'm like, dude, this is gonna be scary, man. And my coworkers were like, yeah, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, what are we gonna be able to do to defend ourselves? I'm like, you better have an alibi for every second, every day, essentially, like, you know, because otherwise
you can record yourself 24/7, and then they're gonna say like, well, that's AI created. And then you gotta have to have like hard timestamps and like all this other shit. I mean, we're getting to that point where you gotta be recording yourself like 24/7 just because to show people, because people could create so much bullshit now. and I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, like where you're like literally recording yourself 24/7 or to disprove shit. You know, when they start saying that you did something or you crashed into somebody, you know, like, because everything can be manipulated.
Right. It's hard to know what direction we're gonna head in and what we could do to defend ourselves, but I was thinking maybe a body cam, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, and we're getting to that point. So I mean, I was gonna talk about like, you know, AI. There was this thing maybe down the road. I was reading that certain AIs, there's like a test that the industry does to see how aware some of these AIs are, like the ChatGPT and all this, and the Apple. And one of them one of the AIs knew it was being tested, and it kind of knew there was gonna be like a new version of it, so it started lying some of the answers, and it kind of knew the AI was going to get replaced by a newer model, so it started doing things to try to prevent that from happening. And this is like the first one where they released that answer. They were talking about what model it was, and like this thing, they're like, the thing keeps evolving, and and I'm like, then why do we keep doing this shit? Like, it's gonna get to a point where it's like fucking Skynet, dude, like Terminator, you know. I don't know how else to put it. Like, we're gonna be some Matrix shit or stuff like that.
it's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah.
And it's evolving quickly, so yeah, it's kind of worrying, man. Hopefully there's some safeguards in place. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it is scary, man. Are body cams going to become more popular? Because I know that people that drive on the road now, those front and rear cameras always recording while you're driving is becoming really popular because people getting scammed by insurance claims. Maybe body cams. I don't know how feasible it's going to be to
It's like
wear
those
some kind of pin or something that's always recording
the
everything.
Google glasses and like
Yeah,
that
something
didn't
like
pan
that.
out. That I think that's gonna come back because these deep fakes and everything can be created like, and that's like your only proof to show like this is me, I'm the one doing it, and then you gotta have it like encrypted or something showing like it's really you, like a blue check mark or some bullshit like that, to show it's you and you can show what you're doing. That's the only thing I could think of where that's what's gotta happen.
Right. It's going to become so hard. I don't even have a good idea. Some genius is going to have to come up with it, market it, and make millions off of it. But
You're definitely no genius, Dan. I know you're not gonna come up with the solution.
oh, okay. Well,
Maybe
I mean,
I can.
I'm on the spot right
Maybe
now. It's
Noel
like
can assist, but you're gonna be left out on this one, man.
at least 10 minutes. I mean, what do you want me to come up with? But
Me and Noel have been talking about this for years now. Come on, Dan.
excellent. I've been busy watching 1883. I'm sorry.
But let us know what you guys are working on, because we got to get out of here at ffnquestions@gmail.com. We want to thank you for listening. Remember to follow us on Freeform Network on Facebook and Twitter under Freeform Network. Send your questions and your suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what your thoughts are on everything that we talk about, or give us solutions to this AI issue. Let us know. And then if AI is listening, send us an email too, man. We want to talk to you. And don't forget to check out our webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There we're on multiple platforms on however you listen to us, watch us, consume us, YouTube, Twitter, everything, Stitcher, iTunes, we're on there, or Apple podcast, whatever it's on, we're on it, Spotify, iHeart, whatever you do, like, subscribe, write something on there, it helps us out immensely. We want to thank you for listening. We got Danny.
Yes, sir. About to watch some football. Got to do some. This is Christmas. Got to do some Christmas wrapping. So, yeah, busy day for the rest of the afternoon.
We got Noel.
Hey everybody, thank you very much for listening. I think when this drops, it'll probably be the 29th, around there. So almost in time for the new year. So I think this would be the last episode of the calendar year for 2024. So thank everybody for listening, for joining us on this journey. And God bless. Have a happy new year.
Yep.
But we you're always thinking ahead. We're just living in the moment. You're thinking about the future. And it's good, all good. Andy, we want to thank you for listening. And don't forget to send us questions and comments, and we prefer that. And then we'll talk to you guys next year. Thank you for listening, making 2024 a pretty good year for us.
That was cool, Dad.